Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Hello and welcome. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan. Thanks for tuning in with us on Friday, September 12th, 2025.
We are based, as always, in sunny Sacramento, California.
And it is definitely living up to the name today. Beautiful sunshine, looking at a high of around 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty nice.
Nice indeed. Elsewhere in the country, a bit more active. Heavy rainfall is still hitting South Florida, the Southern Rockies, and the Northern Plains.
Yeah, keep an eye out for potential flash flooding there, especially, in those burn scar areas. They're particularly vulnerable.
Definitely. Okay, quick look at the markets before we dive into tech. Friday close, September 12th. The Dow Jones finished down just a tiny bit at 46,048.43.
So down 0.06% for the day.
Right, but it was actually up for the week, 1.36%, so decent overall.
Okay, and the S&P?
S&P 500 also saw a small dip today, closed at 6,585.07. That's down 0.08%. But again, positive week, up 1.34%. Bitcoin closed at 115,093.16. Down a bit today, too, about 0.36%, but it had a good week overall, up 2.69%.
Huh. Market's doing their usual little dance, I suppose. Up, down. Hopefully, mostly up in the long run.
Help. Now, the important question. Right. How did our SF Giants do?
Well, no game for the Giants on September 11th. So no news there.
Yeah.
Maybe gives them a rest day.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's shift gears. Time to connect the dots on today's biggest tech stories from our Morning Star report.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's unpack this first one. It's a pretty significant development involving Microsoft and European regulators.
Yeah, this is big. Microsoft managed to dodge what could have been a massive antitrust fine from the EU.
How?
Well, essentially, they agreed to legally separate their Teams communication platform from the Office 365 and Microsoft 365 suites. The ones pretty much everyone uses.
Right. Unbundling Teams. And this wasn't out of the blue, was it?
No, not at all. The EU officially launched its investigation back in July 2023.
But the complaint that triggered it came even earlier, right? From Slack.
Exactly. Salesforce-owned Slack filed a complaint way back in 2020. Their argument was basically abusive bundling.
Meaning Microsoft was using its dominance in Office software to unfairly push Teams on everyone.
Precisely. Giving Teams what Slack called an undue advantage. It's a classic antitrust concern, kind of like, well, like the old Internet Explorer days with Windows.
History repeating itself, sort of. Mm-hmm. So what did Microsoft actually agree to do now?
Well, these new commitments are serious. They're legally binding for at least 7 years.
7 years, okay.
And some key parts, like making sure Teams can work with other platforms and letting users get their data out easily that lasts for 10 years.
10 years for interoperability and data portability, that's substantial.
It is. And specifically, they have to offer Office suites without Teams and at a lower price.
So businesses can actually choose now. If they use Slack or something else, they don't have to pay for Teams.
Right. And existing customers can switch to those cheaper Teams-less bundles. Plus, they have to make it easier for platforms like Slack or AlphaView, I think was mentioned, to work smoothly with the Microsoft environment.
And easier data export, too. That sounds much more solid than maybe what they offered before.
Definitely. Regulators and competitors had apparently rejected earlier proposals as not going far enough. This really shows the EU isn't backing down when it comes to regulating big tech.
So why does this matter for, the average person or business?
Well, the most immediate thing is choice and flexibility. Businesses can now potentially save money if they don't need Teams. It prevents that feeling of being locked into one vendor's entire ecosystem.
Right, avoids that vendor lock-in. And what about for competitors like Slack?
This is a pretty big win for them. It levels the playing field theoretically. They can compete more directly on the quality of their product, not just fight against a bundled deal.
Which could lead to better communication tools for everyone in the long run, maybe. More innovation.
That's the hope, yeah. Healthier competition usually benefits users. And broadly, it just reinforces the EU's role as a major watchdog for these huge tech companies. It might influence how tech giants bundle products globally, not just in Europe.
It's kind of like, when you buy a fast food combo meal?
Yeah.
But you don't really want the fries. Now you can just buy the burger, and it's actually cheaper.
Huh. That's a pretty good analogy, actually. You get exactly what you want, potentially for less.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Moving from regulation to the heart of AI.
Yes, the OpenAI and Microsoft relationship. Always fascinating.
Before we wrap up, here's one more thing to know about a major shift in the AI landscape. OpenAI and Microsoft have struck a new deal.
A preliminary one, yeah, non-binding for now, but it revises their huge partnership. Seems like it resolves months of, let's say, underlying tension.
And it allows OpenAI to move forward with a pretty radical corporate restructuring.
That's the key part. OpenAI plans to become a public benefit corporation, a PBC.
Okay, PBC, what does that mean practically?
Well, it's a for-profit structure, but it's still ultimately controlled by OpenAI's original nonprofit arm. The idea is to let them raise the absolutely massive amounts of capital they think they'll need for AGI.
Artificial general intelligence. We're talking potentially trillions of dollars, right?
Exactly. But the PBC structure legally requires them to also prioritize their original mission, benefiting humanity, alongside making profits. It's a balancing act baked into their corporate DNA.
That's ambitious. And what about the Microsoft side of this deal? What did they get?
A major win for Microsoft. The agreement gets rid of that controversial AGI doomsday clause from their original 2019 contract.
Right, the clause that could have, cut off Microsoft's access to OpenAI's tech once AGI was supposedly achieved.
Which you can imagine Microsoft wasn't thrilled about. Satya Nadella, Microsoft's CEO, even publicly called defining AGI for that clause nonsensical benchmark hacking.
Yeah, I remember that. It sounded like a huge point of friction. So neutralizing that is big for Redmond.
Huge. It removes a massive uncertainty hanging over their entire AI strategy, which relies so heavily on OpenAI's models.
And under this new structure, the original nonprofit still holds the reins.
Ultimate control, yes. And it's set to get a gigantic financial stake from the for-profit side. Projections are over $100 billion.
Wow, that would make it one of the wealthiest charities or philanthropic groups on the planet.
Easily. So what does this all mean for you listening? Why should you care?
Well, first off, it seems to stabilize arguably the most important partnership in the AI world right now. Continued collaboration, continued progress on the tech.
Right. It balances that drive for profit needed for development with at least a stated commitment to ethical AI deployment.
And for Microsoft products, like Copilot, Azure AI.
It means Microsoft keeps its deep access to OpenAI's most advanced models. Yeah. So expect those AI features you're starting to use everywhere to keep getting smarter and more capable. It solidifies Microsoft's AI pipeline.
So what does this all mean for you? This isn't just some corporate paperwork shuffle, is it?
Not at all. It's fundamentally about shaping how this incredibly powerful AI technology develops, who guides its direction, and how we try to align that with, human interests.
It also shows the maybe the growing pains of what some called a marriage with ups and downs as both companies get bigger and their interests potentially diverge.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
A necessary evolution, perhaps.
Now, while that partnership with OpenAI is crucial, it's not Microsoft's only play in the AI game. They're actually building what some are calling a multi-model moat.
That's right. Even with the renewed OpenAI deal looking solid, Microsoft is actively diversifying its AI options.
Hedging their bets, maybe?
Partly, yes, but also strategically positioning themselves. They're integrating models from other AI companies and significantly boosting their own in-house AI development.
So not putting all their AI eggs in the OpenAI basket.
Exactly. They want to be seen as this sort of neutral and indispensable platform for AI, offering customers a choice of different models depending on what they need.
Like what? Any examples?
Well, interestingly, just days before this OpenAI deal was announced, there were reports about Microsoft integrating Anthropic's model, Claude Sonnet 4, into Microsoft 365.
Anthropic, another major AI player.
Well, apparently, internal tests found Claude was actually better for certain specific workflow tasks than, presumably, the OpenAI models they were using.
Huh. So it's not always about one model being universally the best. Different models might be better at different things.
That seems to be the implication. Specialization matters.
Yeah.
They're not just plugging in models. They're working with Anthropic on foundational stuff, too, like open standards.
Standards? Like what?
Something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. The idea is to help different AI agents and tools, maybe a language model, a vision model, a planning tool, work together seamlessly without losing track of what they're doing.
Ah, like getting different specialists to collaborate effectively on a complex project.
Kind of, yeah. Ensuring interoperability between different AI systems, which could be really important as AI gets more complex.
But Microsoft isn't just relying on partners like OpenAI and Anthropic, right? They're building their own stuff too.
Absolutely. They recently unveiled their first homegrown foundational models, MAI-1 and MAI Voice 1. trained on a huge amount of computing power.
MAI models, so developing their own AI muscle internally.
Definitely. It gives them more control. It potentially lets them build specialized models for specific Microsoft products. And it's a strategic hedge, like you said.
Yet even with all this diversification, they're still going deep with OpenAI's next big thing, GPT-5.
Oh, yeah. Reports are they're integrating GPT-5 across their entire product line. So it shows commitment to that core partnership while building out these other options. It's a dual strategy.
What's fascinating here is that balancing act, partnering deeply but also competing and building independently.
It's smart business in a fast-moving field. So why does this matter to users?
Well, this is potentially fantastic news if you use Microsoft products. It means you're more likely to get the best AI tool for whatever you're doing.
Because Microsoft can pick and choose.
Right. They can select from OpenAI, Anthropic, their own MAI models, maybe others down the line, depending on which performs best for a specific feature or task. That should lead to more capable AI overall.
And for businesses relying on Microsoft's cloud or software?
It reduces Microsoft's risk, makes their AI services more resilient, less dependent on just one partner. And, this competition between the models themselves should drive innovation faster across the board.
That makes sense. So looking at the big picture.
It really shows the AI market is maturing, doesn't it? It's moving beyond just who has the single biggest, most powerful model.
Yeah, it seems like specialized capabilities, how well models perform specific tasks, and how easily they can work together, those open standards we mentioned are becoming really important differentiators.
Less one model to rule them all, more a diverse ecosystem.
Exactly. A richer, more varied landscape, which is probably better for everyone in the long run.
Okay, what a day for connecting the dots in tech. So to quickly recap, we saw Microsoft navigate the EU antitrust wars, agreeing to unbundle Teams from Office.
Which means more choice for you, potentially lower costs, and a more level playing field for communication tools.
Then the major evolution in the OpenAI-Microsoft partnership, resolving key tensions like the AGI clause and setting OpenAI up as this unique public benefit corporation.
Stabilizing a critical alliance, ensuring continued AI progress in Microsoft products, and really highlighting that complex balance between innovation, profit, and ethical considerations.
And finally, Microsoft isn't just relying on OpenAI. They're building that multi-model moat, diversifying with partners like Anthropic and building their own AI like MAI1.
Which ultimately means better, more specialized, and more resilient AI tools finding their way into the software you use every day. From how you communicate at work to the AI tools powering your everyday tasks, these shifts are connecting the dots for our tech future.
It's clear that regulations, massive partnerships, and strategic diversification are all constantly shaping the tech landscape.
And directly impacting the tools and choices available to you.
It really makes you think, as AI gets woven deeper into everything, will this push towards choice and different models continue? Or will the sheer scale needed for the most advanced AI eventually lead back to just a few dominant players? Something to keep an eye on.
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.